Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche plans to meet with convicted sex trafficker and Jeffrey Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell in the next several days. Maxwell was convicted of recruiting and grooming multiple teenage girls for over a decade to be sexually abused by Epstein. The meeting is part of an effort by the Justice Department to uncover more information about the Epstein case, which has been marred by controversy and conspiracy theories. Maxwell's attorney, David Oscar Marcus, has argued that she did not receive a fair trial and has requested meetings with Trump administration officials. #Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein, #sex trafficking, #conspiracy theories. Federal authorities are seizing millions of dollars worth of illicit vapes, many designed to evade parental detection and marketed with sugary flavors and social media campaigns. The products, often imported from China, feature vaping mechanisms concealed as everyday items like backpacks or video game consoles. Despite a ban on flavored vapes, stores continue to sell cartridges with enticing names like Pineapple Express and Killer Custard Blueberry. Experts warn that the nicotine in some vape products is highly addictive and dangerous for children and young adults. The World Health Organization, WHO's staff residence in Deir al-Balah, Gaza, was attacked 3 times by the Israel Defense Forces, IDF. WHO officials said male staffers and family members were handcuffed, stripped, interrogated on the spot, and screened at gunpoint. 3 staff members were detained, 2 of which were later released. The WHO condemned the attacks in the strongest terms, stating that any threat to its premises is a threat to the entire humanitarian health response in Gaza. Hunter Biden, the son of former President Joe Biden, recently appeared on a podcast where he went on a profanity-laden rant about various topics, including his father's presidential campaign and Democratic strategists. Here are 5 of the strangest moments from the interview. 1. George Clooney sabotaged Joe Biden's campaign. Hunter Biden claimed that actor George Clooney sabotaged his father's re-election effort with a Ukrainian soldier, severely injured in a Russian drone attack last October, has shown remarkable resilience and determination. The soldier lost his vision and required 3 amputations, but continues to hold on to hope thanks to the unwavering support of his wife. Despite the immense physical and emotional challenges he faces, the soldier's love for his family remains unbroken. A spectacular powerboat crash occurred during E1 qualifying in Monaco on July 22, 2025. The incident involved 2 powerboats, but both pilots managed to get out of their vessels unharmed. The event took place at the prestigious racing venue, with no reports of injuries or damage to property. Coldplay's lead singer, Chris Martin, playfully warned fans that they could be caught on camera during a recent concert after the band was involved in a kiss cam controversy. The incident occurred at an unspecified location and date, but it has sparked a conversation about fan engagement and consent. Martin's warning to fans suggests that the band is taking steps to address the issue and ensure that all attendees feel comfortable and respected. The mayor of Louisville, Kentucky, has shifted the city's immigration policy after receiving a warning from the Department of Justice, DOJ, that it would sue over its detainer rules. Mayor Craig Greenberg, a Democrat, wrote in a letter to the DOJ that he is adjusting the city's policy to avoid being considered a sanctuary jurisdiction and potential litigation. The change comes after the DOJ warned that non-compliant states and cities have faced legal action and freezes on federal funding. Actor Malcolm-Jamal Warner, best known for his role as Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, has died at the age of 54 while on vacation in Costa Rica. Meanwhile, supermodel Christie Brinkley shared a devastating personal moment that nearly broke her. China has reportedly prevented dozens of Americans from leaving the country under an exit ban policy, including at least 1 U.S. government official. The individual, a Commerce Department employee, had his passport and other personal items seized in April and was told he could not leave China. A spokesperson for the State Department confirmed that the individual is a U.S. Patent and Trademark Office employee who was traveling to China in a personal capacity. While it is unclear if any other U.S. government officials have been barred from leaving China, Beijing claims it is handling entry and exit affairs in accordance with the law. The Chinese embassy in Washington, D.C., stated that foreign citizens, including Americans, are welcome in China and guaranteed safety and legitimate rights and interests. However, reports suggest that dozens of Americans have been blocked from leaving China, including Wells Fargo Managing Director Chen Yue Mao, who was allegedly linked to a criminal investigation. The Transportation Security Administration (TSA) has launched the One-Stop Security Program, allowing international travelers with connecting flights to bypass TSA rescreening at U.S. airports. The pilot program, authorized by Congress, began on July 22, 2025, and is currently available for passengers arriving from London's Heathrow International Airport. American Airlines and Delta Airlines have partnered with the TSA to launch the program, which aims to streamline security procedures and reduce wait times for travelers. According to TSA Deputy Administrator Adam Stahl, more foreign airports will be added to the program in the coming month. The new policy is part of the Golden Age of Travel initiative, which seeks to improve the overall travel experience for Americans. In related news, the Department of Homeland Security has announced the end of the shoe-off requirement at TSA security checkpoints nationwide, effective immediately. NPR's top editor, Edith Chapin, is leaving the company later this year after 13 years amid federal funding cuts. Chapin has overseen some of NPR's most consequential coverage in its history, including global conflicts and U.S. elections. She spent 25 years at CNN before joining NPR in 2012. The Trump administration's rescissions package pulled over $1 billion in federal broadcast funding for the fiscal year, leading to Chapin's departure. NPR CEO Catherine Maher has vowed that the organization will continue to operate despite the loss of federal funding. A Tesla charging unit sparked a two-alarm garage fire in Louisville, Texas on Monday, causing extensive damage to a home. The fire broke out around 12:30 p.m. and primarily damaged a second vehicle, a Lexus, parked inside the garage, and the upper floors of the home. No one was injured, and firefighters had the blaze under control by 1:15 p.m. Investigators are working to determine what caused the charging unit to ignite. A monster truck wheel detached during a show at Thunderbird Arena and Stadium in Bremerton, Washington on Sunday, causing damage to several parked cars. The incident occurred when the wheel came loose and bounced out of the arena into the nearby parking lot. According to the Malicious Monster Truck Tour, no one was injured in the incident, but multiple cars sustained significant damage. The tour released a statement confirming that they were using industry-standard wheel restraints at the time of the incident. An investigation is ongoing to determine the cause of the wheel detachment. This is not the first incident involving monster trucks in Washington state. In 2009, a 6-year-old boy tragically died after being struck by debris from a monster truck at a show at the Tacoma Dome. White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt celebrated the incredible 6 months since President Donald Trump was sworn into his second term on Tuesday on the Ruthless podcast. Leavitt said the president is not only having a good time, but also delivering on critical campaign promises, including defeating inflation and securing the border. She noted that Trump has already codified the entire MAGA agenda through Congress in 6 months, with the One Big Beautiful Bill. Other achievements mentioned include stopping wars, preventing hostage situations, and negotiating trade deals. Israeli police have dismissed reports that Jewish settlers set fire to the archaeological site of the Church of St. George in the West Bank village of Taibeh, calling them factually incorrect and lacking evidence. A probe was launched by a specialized team within the Judea and Samaria Central Investigations Unit, YAMAR, under the direction of the district commander. The police statement noted that a small fire had occurred in an open area near the site, but no buildings, crops, or infrastructure were damaged. U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee welcomed the investigation and called for accountability, stating that to commit an act of sacrilege by desecrating a place that is supposed to be a place of worship, it is an act of terror, and it is a crime. The incident has sparked diplomatic and religious fallout, with some accusing radical Israelis from nearby settlements of intentionally setting fire near the town's cemetery and the Church of St. George. However, Israeli police have found no evidence to support these claims. A Texas couple, Arlen and Diane Chase, have led excavations at Caracol in Belize for 4 decades. They recently uncovered the 4th-century tomb of Te Cab Chak, the ruler of a major Mayan city. The discovery is considered priceless and sheds new light on the history of the region. Former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has shifted his focus from President Donald Trump to affordability issues after losing the Democratic Party nomination for NYC mayor to Democratic socialist Zohran Mamdani. Cuomo, who resigned amid scandals in 2021, now emphasizes making NYC a city with lower rent, safer streets, and vows to protect it from potential federal crackdowns. He faces Mamdani, Mayor Eric Adams, and others in the general election. Several suspects charged with attempted murder of federal officers in the Prairie Land Detention Center attack on July 4, 2025, have been arrested in the past for protest activities. Inez Soto and Savannah Batten were involved in protests against ICE facilities and were previously arrested for resisting arrest and blocking highways. Benjamin Song, a former U.S. Marine Corps reservist, was accused of firing at correctional officers and an Alvarado police officer during the attack. The FBI has captured Song, who had a known protest background and was tied to a pro-arms leftist group. A 17-year-old male has been arrested and charged with the alleged murder of Sunshine Sonny Stewart, a 48-year-old paddleboarder who was found dead on July 3, 2025, near Crawford Pond in Union, Maine. The suspect reportedly led police on a wild goose chase through the campground where he and Stewart were staying, before being arrested 2 weeks later. An autopsy determined that Stewart's cause of death was strangulation and blunt force trauma. Ellen DeGeneres has expressed her desire to return to hosting a talk show, but believes the format may not be suitable for modern audiences. The 67-year-old comedian and former host of The Ellen DeGeneres Show made the comments during a live conversation with Richard Bacon on Sunday. She cited the changing way people consume information and entertainment as a reason why she thinks the traditional talk show format may not work today. DeGeneres hosted her show for 19 seasons from 2003 to 2022, but it came to an end 2 years after allegations of a toxic work environment surfaced in July 2020. The comedian has since moved to England with her wife Portia de Rossi and is taking her time deciding on her next career move. Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele responded to Hunter Biden's threat of invasion by mocking his prior drug use. In a recent interview, Biden stated that if he became president, he would demand the return of migrants deported to El Salvador and threaten to invade the country if they did not comply. Bukele shared a clip of the interview on X, where he laughed off the threat and questioned whether Biden was sniffing powdered milk. The exchange comes as tensions between the U.S. and El Salvador continue to rise over deportation policies. Fox News host Sean Hannity says the Democratic Party is in shambles on Hannity. The article highlights various opinion pieces from Fox News contributors, including Hunter Biden's heated rhetoric and President Trump's border policies. Other topics include the release of MLK files, the impact of politics on mental health, and a cartoon of the day. A Democrat vying to become Nassau County, New York's next district attorney, is in the hot seat after a campaign job posting encouraged convicted criminals to apply and earn up to $7,000 a month. Candidate Nicole Aloise's campaign posted the ad on Indeed.com seeking a communications director, but later removed the line, "People with a criminal record are encouraged to apply." Incumbent Republican District Attorney Ann Donnelly criticized Aloise for inviting criminals into her campaign, saying it suggests she's blind to what her job is supposed to be. The European Union's Defense Commissioner, Andrius Kubilius, has warned that the world may face its most dangerous moment in 2027, when Russia and China could coordinate aggressive moves against Western defenses. This warning aligns with concerns from U.S. Air Force Gen. Alexis Grinkovich, who stated that the United States and its European allies must be prepared to fight two wars simultaneously by then. The EU is preparing for a shift in the American military posture on the continent, with over 80,000 U.S. troops currently stationed in Europe. As part of this effort, NATO leaders agreed to increase defense spending from 2% of GDP to 5% for member countries. Kubilius emphasized that Europe must not only fund its own defense, but also build it, reducing reliance on U.S.-made weapons and increasing domestic production. As older adults navigate the digital world, protecting their personal information from scams and threats is crucial. A trusted loved one can serve as a privacy partner, helping to set up security measures such as phone and device protection, scam filtering, financial safeguards, and data removal. By working together, individuals can maintain control over their online presence while staying safe from potential risks. Key takeaways include setting up strong passwords, using two-factor authentication, and regularly monitoring accounts for suspicious activity. With the right tools and support, older adults can enjoy a secure digital life without sacrificing independence. Kirkland's signature Marshmallow Crispy cookies have taken social media by storm, with customers raving about the new dessert that combines nostalgic flavors of childhood into one gooey and chewy treat. The cookies, which cost $9.99 for a 24-count box, feature brown butter dough, marshmallows for chewiness, and crispy rice cereal for crunch. Hundreds of Costco lovers took to Reddit to discuss the recent drop, with some suggesting popping the baked goods into the microwave or air fryer for a few seconds. The marshmallow cookies join a list of other popular Costco items released this summer, including the Kirkland signature peaches and cream bar cake and frozen strawberry lemonade. In a surprising move, President Donald Trump has endorsed Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota for re-election after previously vowing he would never endorse the senator again. Trump's endorsement comes in a Truth Social post where he referred to Rounds as an America First patriot. The president had previously criticized Rounds for describing the 2020 election as fair on ABC's This Week in 2022, leading him to declare that he would never endorse the senator again. However, it appears Trump has reversed his stance and is now backing Rounds for re-election. Stephen Colbert responded to CBS canceling his show in May 2026, telling President Donald Trump to go fuck yourself after the president celebrated the cancellation. During a monologue on Monday night, Colbert discussed the reasons behind CBS's decision and took aim at Trump for his comments. The network announced last week that it would be canceling The Late Show with Stephen Colbert due to financial reasons, citing a $40 million annual loss. Colbert joked that he could see where Paramount spent the remaining $16 million, referencing the company's recent settlement with Trump. Fox News Channel's Gutfeld has surged to become late night's highest-rated program, notching 3 million viewers and 365,000 in the 25 to 54 age demographic at the 10 p.m. Eastern Hour. House Republicans have linked the rise in violence against Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE agents, to Democratic politicians' rhetoric against federal immigration officers. The lawmakers argue that inflammatory language from Democrats has contributed to the surge in attacks on ICE and Border Protection (CBP) officers. At least 2 ambushes in Texas, protests at the Portland, Oregon ICE facility, and riots in Los Angeles have been linked to the anti-ICE protests. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Christie blamed Democrats' sanctuary city policies for the shooting of an off-duty CBP officer in New York City. House Republicans say that without enforcing immigration laws, there is no border, and without a border, there is no country. The U.S. House of Representatives has canceled its last day of votes before summer break, due to a standoff over the release of government files on late financier Jeffrey Epstein. The fight, led by Republican Representative Thomas Massie and Democratic Representative Ro Khanna, aims to force the Trump administration to release all remaining documents related to Epstein's case. House Speaker Mike Johnson expressed frustration with Massie, accusing him of playing gotcha politics and trying to inflict pain on his fellow Republicans. The Epstein saga has dominated Capitol Hill chatter for over a week, with many in Trump's base clamoring for the release of all documents. The House GOP leadership's final news conference before recess was also dominated by the issue. President Donald Trump's intelligence chiefs are attempting to rewrite the history of the 2016 election, claiming that Obama administration officials manipulated intelligence and conspired against Trump. However, a bipartisan Senate investigation in 2020 found that Russia interfered in the election, launching a disinformation campaign designed to damage Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton's candidacy. The CIA review also found no evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard has made a criminal referral to the Justice Department related to the 2017 intelligence assessment of Russia's role in the 2016 election, but the nature of the referral is unclear. Democratic lawmakers accuse the administration of seeking to distract from the Epstein case and to rewrite history for partisan purposes. The Trump administration's decision to impose a 17% tariff on Mexican tomatoes has sparked backlash from greenhouse growers and industry groups in Arizona and Texas. Critics argue that the move will raise prices, cost jobs, and harm consumers who rely on a wide variety of tomatoes grown in greenhouses year-round. The Commerce Department claims the tariffs are necessary to protect domestic farmers, but opponents say it's a protectionist measure that will ultimately hurt American businesses and workers. In a show of support, late-night hosts Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, Jon Stewart, John Oliver, Adam Sandler, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Andy Cohen, and Anderson Cooper attended Stephen Colbert's The Late Show after the announcement that it will be canceled. NBC's Joe Fryer reports for Today. An American citizen from Oklahoma was killed along with 6 male relatives during the sectarian violence that erupted last week in Syria. Hossein Saraya, a 35-year-old Syrian American who lived in Oklahoma City, was visiting his family in Sweda when he and his family members were seized by armed men and gunned down. The State Department confirmed the death, but did not identify the person or provide details. Clashes between Syria's Druze minority and Bedouin tribal militias have resulted in hundreds of deaths, with a fragile ceasefire agreed upon over the weekend. Coca-Cola will launch a version of its signature drink made with American cane sugar in the United States later this year. The announcement comes after President Donald Trump posted on Truth Social that he had urged the company to use real cane sugar in its American version of Coke. Coca-Cola, produced for the U.S. market, is typically sweetened with corn syrup, while the company uses cane sugar in some other countries. The new product will complement the company's existing product line and cater to consumer preferences. Andrés González Vega, a 101-year-old Puerto Rican veteran of World War II, is one of the last remaining soldiers from the war. He recalls his experiences in the military, including his time in Panama and New York City, where he faced racism and challenges. González Vega also talks about his work preserving Puerto Rican culture and his efforts to promote civil rights. With less than 1% of all World War II veterans alive, González Vega's story is a rare glimpse into the past. U.S. President Donald Trump met with Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. at the White House on July 22, 2025. The meeting comes as tensions rise between the two countries over trade and security issues. Trump has been critical of the Philippines' handling of human rights in the past, but his administration has also sought to strengthen ties with Manila. A critical flaw in Microsoft's SharePoint platform has been exploited by Chinese hackers, including those working for the Chinese government. The vulnerability allows hackers to gain significant access to computers of organizations hosting SharePoint. Microsoft announced a downloadable fix on Monday, but not before hackers had already targeted multiple government agencies and clients who hadn't updated their systems. This incident echoes a similar hacking case in 2021, where a flaw in Microsoft's Exchange email program allowed Chinese hackers to snoop on government emails. The U.S. government has attributed cyber espionage efforts to China, which often downplays the accusations. The White House is facing backlash after booting the Wall Street Journal from a cohort of media outlets set to cover President Donald Trump's upcoming trip to Scotland. The move comes after the Journal reported that Trump sent Jeffrey Epstein a birthday card in 2003 with a drawing of a naked woman. Press groups have condemned the decision, calling it an attack on core constitutional principles underpinning free speech and a free press. A brutal late July heatwave has left over 62 million people under heat alerts stretching from northern Florida to the northern plains. The heat dome is expected to strengthen over the Mississippi and Ohio valleys, bringing triple-digit temperatures from Kansas to Mississippi. Temperatures will sizzle in the upper 90s, with localized daily records potentially being set in the southeast. Officials warn locals to stay hydrated, take breaks from being outdoors, and wear lightweight clothing during heat waves. An investigation is underway after a 55-year-old Vietnamese national, Tien Xuan Phan, died in the hospital while in Immigration and Customs Enforcement custody. Phan had been held at the Karnes County, Texas facility for 7 weeks before being taken to the local hospital on Friday due to seizures, vomiting, and unresponsiveness. The cause of death is unknown and is currently under investigation by ICE. This incident marks one of 8 detainee deaths in ICE custody this year, with 12 recorded in 2024. A video showing the execution of a man and woman accused of having an affair has sparked outrage in Pakistan. The pair were killed by a group of men, including a local tribal chief who ordered the killings. Police have arrested 14 people, including the tribal leader, over the honor killing in Balochistan province. The victims were married to other people and had several children from those marriages. Hundreds of women are killed annually in Pakistan for alleged dishonor, with many cases going unpunished.